Hello. In this video, we're going to be talking about radian measure. So the radian measure of an angle is the ratio or fraction between the angle's subtended arc compared to the radius length. So in the circle below, you're asked to find the radian measure, and all we need to do is take the arc length that was subtended here, so this length right here, which was pi, and so we'll call the radians theta, and it'll be pi over, and then divided by the radius, which is 3. So this length right here is our theta, and that radian measure would be pi over 3 radians. This information can apply to help us find other measures, and we'll see that on the next slide. In these examples, our unknowns are in different locations. In the top left example, my unknown is on the radius of the circle. Now, from the previous slide, we talked about the formula essentially to find the radian measure, which we can apply to find the other missing pieces. We know that the radians are the same as the arc length divided by the radius. And so here, my radian measure is 3 pi over 4, the arc length is 3 pi, and my radius is unknown. Well, this makes it seem pretty easy to figure out what x is. Since both the numerators are 3 pi, the denominator has to just be 4, and that's in inches. Okay, if you think about what the full circumference of this circle would be, it's 2 times pi times 4, which is 8 pi. So the whole way around is 8 pi. The whole way around is 8 pi. Well, this section right here is just 3 pi of that full 8 pi. And that seems to make sense, right? It's 3/8 of the entire circle. And that's roughly what it looks like, about 3/8 of the entire circle. So the answer makes sense here. Let's look at the other one. In this example, what we don't have is the arc length. So we fill in our radians as 5 pi over 6. We don't know what the arc length is, but we do know that the radius is 8. So in order to figure out x, what my arc length would be, to get x alone, we will simply multiply both sides by 8 to undo the divide 8 that's happening there. So we have 5 pi times 8 and then divide 6. Well, before we do that, we can start to cross cancel. Like between the 8 and the 6, I can take a 2 out. So I'll be left with a 4 and a 3 here. So on top, I have 20 pi. On bottom, it's just a 3. And that's what the arc length is, and that's in meters, okay? And that's the answer for that particular arc length. It's 20 pi divided by 3 meters. And that's almost 7 pi meters, not quite, of the arc length, okay? And so that's how we can use radians to help us figure out information about radiuses, radii, and arc lengths. For now, we're done.